Mike, I was curious, how much different is Aluma or not from the guy that VMI would have seen just 2 years ago?
Huh. I'm still trying. I mean, the transformation is, and I've said it. Probably a good lesson. Keep your mouth shut and let a kid grow and um, become, his own guy. It's a really a it's a real story. He didn't play a lot of basketball as a kid. He was a soccer player. Um, the story I've heard is the high school coach, who's a good coach and a good person. See him every day walking the halls, and young man with some size, and encouraged him to play. And finally, his ninth grade or 10th grade year, decided to do so. You see the soccer skills, and his feet are remarkable. His hands, he's tough now. I mean, he's tough as a pine knot. I just never thought he would. I never thought he'd be much of a scorer. Just not who he was. But I can go down there this afternoon. So help me goodness. I mean, every day I see him knock down 15 threes before practice in an individual workout. He's made 7 of his last 8. The shot he made to end the half against South Florida, I called timeout. We had something on. Rest assured, if I drew it up, it wasn't that complicated. And he turns his shoulders to pass fake over there, and then squares it up and bangs a shot to put us up 13. And, scoring around the basket. He was the best player on the floor in the Villanova game that day. I don't think we can argue that a whole lot. As great a player as the Earl kid is, and as good a team as they have, that young man to knock in 23 points and have the game that he had. I thought he was phenomenal defensively. He was excited about that matchup. He'd seen the BC in the Arizona State game where Earl was terrific. I thought Keve did a great job with him and keeping his body between the ball and the basket and contesting shots. And now the next part of that is keeping Earl off the offensive glass. I thought he did a nice job of that as well.
With you guys being
Say it again, Mark.
I was with you guys being 3-0 and you're in the top 25. Does that mean? I mean, is your program ahead of schedule, or is this team ahead of schedule? What do you make of where we are now?
I think all of that is premature. Dick Vitale says a lot of things that I disagree with. I do admire Dick a lot. I thought he made a good point last night in one of those games I was watching a little bit of. I don't know, Kansas, Kentucky, maybe. That probably shouldn't even have a top 25 this time of year. We're 3 games in. We had a good win. We've had a good start, but we got a long way to go. We're not going to get too fired up about stuff like that around Honhurst anytime soon.
Norm Wood.
Hey, Mike. Justin seems like he's a really efficient rebounder. Was that an aspect of his game you expected when he arrived from Delaware?
Yeah. I mean, he's good at it, Norm. He hasn't been as effective on the offensive glass as I think he will be. I mean, it's college basketball. It's college athletics now. This is his first year with us, and we've got a lot of tape on him. Watched a lot of tape last year with Delaware, but we're still trying to mesh and still trying to incorporate these new folks that have added a great deal to our program. with and mesh with those guys that are returning, and I think we're doing fine. But Justin Mutz is Joe Mahalik referred to him as a Rodman type player. Joe Mahalik is the head coach at Hofstra, terrific coach, and Mutz is a good player. I mean, he is a good basketball player. We're going to do some more things with him offensively around the basket. He's a lot stronger than he looks, and can get up over top of folks and score the ball. Those 2 threes against Villanova, that one to start the overtime period. I think he made 2 last year. Another kid's just worked at it, gotten better in that area. I'm excited to have him here. I can assure you that.
You mentioned he'd been referred to as a Rodman type player. Does he have that sort of defensive acumen and versatility to guard guys at different positions? And does his aggression get him in trouble sometimes?
Yeah, it does. And he seems to be searching a little bit. I don't know if our scheme is different than what he's accustomed to. He's doing fine, don't get me wrong. I thought he did a really nice job on 23 from Villanova. Can't think of his name. But, I mean, he's long. I mean, he's one of those guys has over a 7-foot wingspan, and he's really smart. The basketball IQ is quite good. So, he's going to continue. Again, he's going to continue to get better and better, throughout the season.
Thanks, man.
David Teal.
Mike, what is Jalen Cohn's timeline right now?
Jalen Cohn will be in uniform. Pardon me 1 second, Dave. He will be in uniform tomorrow against VMI, thankfully. He could have played this past weekend. I just didn't want to throw him into that fire, and he's such an important player for us. Looking big picture as much as anything else. He'll be in the lineup tomorrow, and he's going to be on the floor because he's a good basketball player. I do have some heartburn on how I'm going to manage everything, but I've always thought that kind of worked itself out, and I feel the same way about this team. And minutes for Naheem and Hunter Couture and others.
I heard you thank the folks up at Hokies and the way they ran the tournament. How was the bubble experience, and does it encourage you about how the rest might be managed, especially the postseason?
Yes, Dave. They were. It was awesome. Safety, transportation in there. It is a bubble now. You walk in and you are tested immediately. You are taken to your floor. We were on the 17th floor there of the hotel. You do not leave. You're not going down to get a bottle of Coca-Cola. You're on that floor until that test comes back. When that test comes back and they come back negative, you're going to go down as a group with 3 or 4 security officers. You're going to go down and you're going to eat. You're going to watch your film. When you're ready to go back, you're going to go back as a team. You walk to the arena as a team. They were great. Food service was first class. Testing protocols were first class. The organization and how they managed everything was I couldn't imagine it being any better. I saw Coach Bennett. We were in line to test, or maybe we had just tested, and we spoke and approached one another to talk. And, it wasn't going to happen. They stepped between us, and, Tony goes his way, I go my way. I run across Mark Pope, the head coach of Brigham Young. Their meeting space and where they ate was across the hall from us. It's a big meeting rooms now, like a convention center. And I threw up my hand to Mark, and he comes walking over, and There's multiple security guys I thought were going to tackle me. No, you can't do that. They haven't tested. Their test results aren't back. They did a great job. I hope that we don't have to go to that, but I do think, Dave, if we had to, and maybe we will, that it is possible to pull something like that off. I'm sure Mr. Babcock and other administrators across our league cringe at the notion, but somebody said something, as Matt Norlander, while we were up there, mentioned it and kind of caught me off guard. But I think they would have a chance to make that work.
Mike Barber.
Yeah, Mike, thanks. I have two that are kind of away from the play of the game, but I'm curious with the setup. What's it like to communicate with your assistant coaches during the game? Usually they kind of lean in and talk in your ear, and I know that doesn't really happen.
Mike, there's so many things that are new, and that's one of them. I'm still grappling with it. I'm going to change our alignment today. I never thought I'd be considering where the hell people sit on the bench. But as it stands right now, where we are, and literally Stephanie Boleyn brought me a list of where guys are going to sit on the bench, where I want them. And I've got one player that's essentially down the tunnel in Castle. So we're moving the majority of our players near me, behind me, and the guys Aluma, Wabisa Beatty, those guys are over here because they're typically on the floor. I have not felt any change in my ability to talk to my staff because they're right there in front of me, and if I have something I want to share, they want to share with me. That's been easy. Now at home, you guys that watched the game last Wednesday, we've got a row of people in the stand in the stands behind us, so it is way different. But I thought another thing about Mohegan, I thought that setup was better than ours. We'll continue to tweak ours until we get it right.
And the other one is there's been so much talk about athletes' involvement in justice movements, everything that's going on in the country. Have you had big talks with your team about anything they want to pursue, about kneeling or standing during the anthem, any things they want to get involved in?
Yeah. And I will, and they know this, I will support them. As with regards to the anthem, I asked them to talk to their parents if they thought it was necessary, or if they thought it was appropriate for them to take a stance. And I wanted them to talk to me. And because I wanted to intelligently talk to you guys, if you were to ask why they what are you protesting? You're not protesting protests. And a couple of them did, and I'll keep those conversations between us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron McFarland.
Hey, Mike. I had the pleasure of going to Berlin, Maryland. It's not the big place in the world. When you and given Aluma's, I guess, lack of basketball history, how did you find out about it? What did you see when you first met him and started scouting?
It's a great story. I had an assistant coach, Tim Johnson, who was a fabulous player for me from Memphis, Tennessee, who's now at Furman as an assistant coach. Tim did the legwork on it. Tim did a heck of a job in that relationship. I remember a raw and a heavy, I was kind of fluffy kid. I can remember when he visited, but you watch him play, and he could run. and you see those hands. Loved his family. There's a great seafood restaurant going toward the coast in Berlin, Aaron. I can't think of the name of it, but can remember going over there, and I just love his mom and his. He's just a great family, and Keve Aluma's, it's a great story. I'd been here a little bit, and he called. I mean, called out of the blue, and I'd said my goodbyes, and that was difficult. 30 years in the same place, and he said, "Hey, I want to come play for you." One thing led to another, and thankful that he's here. He was a really good. He was a rebounder defender and a damn good one. For me at Wofford, he didn't have to score, really didn't, look, I can't tell you how many times he'd grab an offensive rebound and he immediately looks to the perimeter to pitch it back out there for a made three. And to see him develop and to see him come into his own, I probably could have fought it last year and made him eligible. And I just thought for him and for our program, if we could get that year and work at it and get him bigger and stronger, and pay tremendous dividends. I don't get much right, Aaron, but I think I got that one right.
Does his soccer stamp still played in games?
Yeah, I think so. His feet, if you watch him guard, and you see angles and you see him, there's a drive in the first half. He's guarding Earl, and Earl's got him. He's got his shoulders behind, and the angle that he takes to get his left foot planted on the baseline and to spin him back to the middle of the floor. Just little things like that I'm not teaching that. I mean, that's just a mobile, strong, smart person. And I see it time and time again. I really do. I mean, he's good. He is a good player, and again, I love that kid. I mean, I love him.
Last question for Coach Young. Ricky?
Hey, Coach, when you recruited Kave, that one of the things that really attracted you to him was the character, his humble nature, that close family tie that he had. So how do you feel like that really keeps him grounded as he kind of gets into the national spotlight?
He's got an unbelievable support group, very, very close. I'll never forget my home visit with him as a high school senior, and his grandmother coming out of the back room, and she was a beautiful lady, and she asked me some tough questions. She really did. She laid it on me. But Bethany, his mom, is just a lovely lady and a great mother, caring, supportive, and he's done great work academically here at Virginia Tech. He's well over a 3.0. And I think, guys, not to get too involved here, I think he's one of those guys that he felt himself. He saw himself getting better. And as you whet your appetite, you want to keep going. And he's done that. And he's in the gym more and working on, other things. So he's a delightful guy to coach. And he's awesome.
And you talked about last season where you had to sit. Were you afraid that there might be a drop off after such a solid sophomore season, which ended in the tournament?
I don't think so. Not coming here, not being courtside and ACC play, and it's not an easy year. It's hard, but if you can see the progress you're making in practice now, he made the most of it. I've seen some guys stay the same, but Keve Aluma worked at it physically, worked at it on the floor, and he is reaping those benefits of that work now.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, last one, Brooke Leonard.
Hey, Coach, you have a really fun experience of getting to see over the years. Offered. What have you seen from Dan Earl and how he's shaped that program? Can you hear me?
Dan Earl's I'm not saying this to say it. Dan Earl is a great coach. Okay, that's a hard job, and the product he puts on the floor year in, year out is is fascinating to watch. He's had some attrition here, which I know eats him up with a couple of guys. But I've seen him play against Penn State. I've seen him play the 3 games that they play. Saw him play last night against Longwood. I've always recognized how good he is, and he can drive you crazy with what he does offensively and spread you out and back cutting you. And the Stevens kid has gotten bigger and stronger, and is really helping them. He's kind of the nerve center for the offense and playing through him. So we will spend a great deal of time, as we did yesterday and today, in our preparation, and look forward to seeing an old friend. I think the world of Dan.